Good evening and welcome to ThaiPBS World. For 5 years, nobody knew for sure what happened to Polaji or Billy Ratdongcharoen, a prominent activist fighting for the rights of the Karen ethnic group in Phetchaburi. He was last seen in the custody of a group of forestry officials at a checkpoint in the Kankachan National Park on April 17, 2014. What happened to Billy put a spotlight on Thai authorities for what international and local human rights groups see as their lack of seriousness in investigating cases of forced disappearances. The case of Billy had been a mystery before mounting pressure forced the Department of Special Investigation to step in. And finally, it has come up with a breakthrough. 5 years after his disappearance, the Department of Special Investigation, or DSI, finally confirmed on Tuesday that Polaji, or Billy, has been killed. The fate of Billy, a father of 5, was unveiled during a deliberately arranged press conference presided over by the DSI chief, Phaisit Wongmuang. It was also attended by forensics experts and representatives from the Border Patrol Police and the engineering faculty of the King Mongkut Institute of Technology, North Bangkok, who played a crucial role in the investigation that led to the uncovering of Billy's remains. What was revealed at the press conference certainly came as heartbreaking news for Billy's family members, who had been kept in the dark for 5 years as to what happened to him. Acting on the tip-off and with the help of a sonar-equipped underwater drone of the King Mongkut University and divers from the Border Patrol Police, DSI investigators scoured the bottom of the reservoir of Kankachan Dam in Phetchaburi province in late April and May. They found an oil barrel with 2 bones fragments inside, one of which was identified as a piece of a human skull. It was a crucial piece of evidence that enabled investigators to identify the deceased after its genetic traces matched that of Billy's mother. More human bone fragments were found during a subsequent search in late August. All DSI can say at the moment is that Billy had been tortured and his body burned, but it stopped short of pointing fingers at any particular suspects. For Pinnapha Priksapan, is the worst nightmare comes true, even though she had long resigned to the verse after her husband's disappearance for 5 years. I felt like having a lump in my throat upon seeing photos of his bones, was Pinnapha's reaction. What had he done to deserve this, she asked. What happened to Billy has become one of the most publicized cases of forced disappearances in Thailand, having drawn attention from several human rights organizations, both local and international, which have expressed concern over what they see as the lack of progress on the part of Thai authorities in dealing with the case. Billy was a grandson of a well-known spiritual leader of the Karen ethnic group living in the forest areas of Kankachan in Phetchaburi. He was one of the few locals who could communicate in Thai fluently and had been representing the ethnic group in defending their rights. Billy was last seen on April 17, 2014, when he was detained by a group of forestry officials at a checkpoint in the Kankachan National Park. The night before his disappearance, Billy stayed overnight at his mother's home at Bangkroi village. On the afternoon the next day, he was seen leaving the village on a motorcycle heading for Kankachan district before he was stopped by a group of forestry officials at the checkpoint. Chaiwat Limlikit Akson, who was then chief of the Kankachan National Park, admitted having detained Billy on the grounds that he was in possession of illegal wild honey. But he claimed the forestry officials held Billy for only 15 minutes before letting him go with a reprimand. But Billy has never been seen since then. Chaiwat and his team subsequently faced a murder charge related to Billy's disappearance, but were eventually acquitted for lack of evidence and were later reinstated as forestry officials, a move declined by human rights groups. Billy's family and neighbors believed that the current right activist had been targeted because of his role in leading a fight against attempts by forestry officials to have villagers evicted from the areas they were alleged to have encroached. Not long before his disappearance, Billy was working with the Law Society to help his relatives lodge a legal case against Chai Wat, the former chief of Tengkrajan National Park, for burning down their bamboo huts and rice barns during a series of forest evictions in 2011. Despite its latest findings, DSI has yet to determine the exact cause of Billy's death. And more importantly, it will need to reopen the investigation to find out who is responsible for his death. People close to Billy believe that officials with whom he had come into conflicts were behind the murder. However, Deputy Prime Minister Pravit Wongsuwan said this morning that there was still no evidence to suggest that state officials were responsible for what happened to Billy. And this afternoon, an MP of the Future Forward Party, Nattapon Saksibwong, who represents ethnic constituencies, issued a call for authority concerns to accord justice to Billy and his family by holding those responsible for his death to account. And that's all for ThaiPBS World tonight. Thank you for watching.